everyone, welcome back to Empowerment Podcast. Welcome to Purpose Driven. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being with us. Hope you guys are having a great day. Hope you are having a lovely week. We are on Wednesday. If you are listening to this on Wednesday, whatever day of the week you are listening to it, I hope that you guys are having a productive day. And of course, on Empowerment Podcast, we aim to inspire you, to equip you, and to make sure that you become the best version of yourself. So, with that said, I beg you guys and I say, please remember to actually keep up with the regulations that have been put up in place in order for us to battle and to defeat this COVID-19 pandemic, which we still live under. Please make sure that you wash your hands regularly, and if you happen to go out, don't forget to put on your mask and to actually keep a 1.5 or 2 meter distance between whoever that you are with, so that you cannot spread or catch this virus. And especially, let's make sure that we take care of our elderly and make sure that they do not get infected. So I want to talk about, guys, today's episode about habits. Habits, habits, they make us or they break us, and habits actually they build up our character, or it's what makes up our character. Habits are those things that we know we do regularly, and then they form basically they go into our subconscious mind, and then they are part of our lives. So there are bad and there are good habits. If you wanna just hear more about what habits are, there is an episode, of course, that I did a while back talking about being intentional or forming intentional habits, because we can have unintentional habits when we do things regularly that are not good, basically, sometimes, and then all of a sudden they are automatic and they are automated in our system, and then they are become bad habits, unintentionally bad habits. So I want to talk about how to break those bad habits, how to break the bad habits. And I just want to hear from you guys. You can share your opinions. You can do that by WhatsApping us. You can WhatsApp the number 065 615 6641. And that is 065 615 6641. I just want to hear from you guys. I just want to hear how you guys break bad habits, or how you guys, what do you think about this topic? And just share your thoughts in the comment sections, or share your thoughts by WhatsApping us. And remember, you can find us on all social media platforms as Empowerment Podcast. So, have you ever tried to break a bad habit? I mean, that's a good question to start with. Or do you actually realize any bad habits in your life, and have you ever tried to break it? Let's say maybe you're just trying to quit eating junk food or a certain type of food, but you are failing, and you're only just coming to frustration. Well, the problem is not that you are weak, or that the habit is actually too ingrained in you, if I may put it like that, but maybe you gave up too soon. I think that's what it is. You gave up too soon. So research actually says that it takes up to 66 days to form a new habit, and of course, likewise, it takes 66 days for you to actually break away again on the habits. So, but before you can go and develop the motivation to stick out for that long, or you can just say, I wanna go and break this habit for 66 days or something. Let's define first what actually is a bad habit and how it's formed. Bad habits are formed and they are reinforced by something called a habit loop. What is a habit loop? A habit loop is when something triggers you to do something that is undesirable and undesired behavior, because of course bad habits, they are those undesired behaviors, or those things that we do, but at the end we don't really feel good about them. So maybe you're feeling stressed, and so you decide, okay, I'm just gonna take my phone, go on Facebook. For instance, I know some people, Facebook is a bad habit for them. Go on Facebook, or gonna eat a lot. Just gonna chow some food. I'm gonna eat away my stress. There are people like that. I'm gonna eat away my stress. And then there's something that actually triggers you to put your head in that event or put your head in the state. That's the first step. That you're actually feeling stressed. That's the trigger. You're feeling stressed, and then you decide to avoid the stress or not actually address the thing that is stressing you by going and running to something that is gonna actually overcome. I don't want to use the word overcome, but avoid the stress. I'm just going to use the word avoid the stress. Something that's going to make you to avoid the stress. And then the second step is actually the behavior itself. So your brain is going to tell you, okay, it's fine. You can just take an hour or two, just go to Facebook, or just pull out your phone, go to Facebook, forget about whatever thing that is stressing you. You can just eat whatever that you're eating that is not good for you, eat it. That's the second step. The third step is that your brain is actually gonna reward you for that. So your brain rewards you, which doesn't mean it's a good thing or it's actually a right thing, but your brain will reward you just that it does something that you actually, I can say you like, in a moment you like, and then your brain actually rewards you. Because when you are on Facebook or while you are eating that junk food or whatever that you do to avoid a certain kind of stress, your brain rewards you, and then you think you feel better after. But the likelihood of this thing is that if you don't address the stress, of course, or the thing or the trigger, is that it's gonna make itself into a cycle. So once you repeat the behavior enough times, it goes into this thing that I said is called a habit loop. So every time the trigger comes or something triggers you, you then automatically maybe pull out your phone, you avoid it, you do something, or you just automatically just want to go and eat, your stress away, or eat whatever thing that is triggering you away. I'm just making simple examples, and then it becomes an automated behavior now, where something happens, you don't even think about it. You just pull out your phone and you go on Facebook, or you just go and eat away. So once a habit is automated, it's very hard to break. But that is why it's probably the research is saying you are not really failing to break away from a habit. It's just that you are not giving yourself enough time. Like it's saying 66 days it takes to take out the habits of your system. 66 days. But the really important thing here is that we need to understand what's really happening within the 66 days for us to actually break away from bad or negative habits. And in fact, as well, even to form positive habits, we need to understand vice versa of these things that I'm going to be sharing here, or these things I'm sharing here. So 66 days might seem like a long time, but there are specific stages that you go through, and that will make the process, I think, feel much shorter or much more understandable. Because when something is explained or something you are doing it, then there's actually knowledge and very information on what happens during what. I think it makes it much easier, because this is a research that has been proven actually. So from day 1 to day number 10, they call it a day of looking inward. So it's a days of 1 to day 10 is a day to look inward. What does it mean? It means that you have to be looking inward on the first 10 days while you are trying to break this habit. First, identify the triggers that are triggering you to go towards the bad habits. Identify the triggers that are leading you to go to a bad habit. So you eat a lot of food when you're stressed. What's causing you to stress? You identify your triggers and then try to avoid them. Try to avoid them. In order for you to change this bad habit, you must actually be honest within you and look for what things that are triggering you to actually be indulging yourself in these negative habits. So the first 10 days of trying to break the habits will provide a sustainable insight into the source of the habit should you choose to look. So make sure that you look carefully within you, and those first 10 days are going to help you to be honest to yourself and make sure that you identify the habits. And number two, I think this one is very crucial. In order for you to break these bad habits, just identifying the triggers won't help you. But in order for you to break these habits, or in fact to go towards this journey from day number 11 to day number 40, I think as well I have to say, these days may vary according to different people, but what you want to grab here are the steps that you're going to be taking. So step number one, looking towards you and make sure that you identify the triggers. Be honest to yourself and just identify the triggers. Step number two, you have to actually spread the word. What do I mean by saying spread the word? You have to be accountable. You have to have crucial accountability, or be accountable to someone, or in fact more than one person if it has to be. Accountable is very crucial in breaking the bad habits, because in the stage of being accountable, you are vocal about this bad habit or this thing that you want to break. There are people that are you're going to be accountable, a network of people. I recommend that you are accountable to more than one person, and you are vocal about it. Be accountable to them, so that every time when they see you, they can actually check upon you. How far are you? And then of course during this accountable stage, it's when you're actually trying to avoid, and you are working towards avoiding this negative habit. And then stage number three, which is about, actually when I said stage number two is about 11 days to 40 days, so stage number three is probably day 41 to day 66. So on stage number three, you mind your relapse triggers, which means you are now again calling back, or you are again being aware of the triggers that triggers you towards or going back to the bad habits. So you mind your triggers. So as you had actually are just about to break these habits. If you are actually on this stage now, you're about to break it, and it happens to everyone, as you know. By mistake, maybe just once again get triggered, and you once again find yourself within the same habits that you are trying to avoid. It happens, but just be on the lookout for common threads, if I may put like that, common threads that are running through, that are making you commit the same mistakes that you did before. If you tend to relapse in certain situation, it might be smart for you to avoid those triggers completely. If there are certain situations that are triggering you, to go back to that habit that you are trying to avoid. It's smart and it's very clever or wise. In fact, I recommend it that you just completely avoid certain triggers or places that actually triggering you, to go back and to relive that habit. Because no one likes a bad habit. So if something is triggering you to go back to that habit, make sure that you avoid it. So yeah, I mean, these 3 steps, they sound easy, but it's not easy. But it takes effort for you to apply them, because we all want to be productive, we all want to be successful, but sometimes what hinders us are bad habits or negative things that we cling onto, and that we get stuck doing. You say you wanna be doing something, but now your phone is a bad habit. It's something that's it's distracting you. Every now and then you just wanna pull out your phone. You wanna do some reading, but you can't even do reading. You're busy pulling out your phone. You wanna do some school assignment, for example, but you are busy pulling out your phone, going to social media. It's now a bad habit. If it happens constantly, or something is triggering you to automatically just pull out your phone, automatically just wanna go eat junk food or unhealthy food. There are different kind of various bad habits out there that we have to overcome in order for us to be productive, and also for us to live effectively and make sure that we are living wise in our lives. So 66 days is all it takes, but you're not weak, if I may put it like that, stupid or lazy if you have a hard time breaking a bad habit. There are psychological factors that make this process challenging for everyone, but they're very proof or research behind what makes a habit hard to break also provides methods for doing it. You must focus on one habit at a time and follow these 3 steps exactly, and give yourself time. Like it says, 66 days. If you follow these 3 steps within the 66 days, there's gonna be a certain change that's gonna happen in your life. So again, I just wanna hear from you guys. How do you break bad habits? How do you break bad habits? Or how do you break bad habits? Just share your thoughts, and what do you think about these 3 steps that I shared about here? That number 1, you have to be actually you have to look within you and actually identify the triggers that are triggering you to actually indulge yourself in the negative or bad habits. Number 2, be accountable while trying to break the bad habits. Be accountable to someone. Be accountable to actually more than one person actually, and get them to check upon you. And number 3, be aware of relapsing back to those triggers. So you have to either avoid the triggers completely or eliminate them completely to where you are. And remember again, you are not weak. As I'm saying, you are not weak if you are struggling to break a bad habit, but you have to put in effort, you have to put in time, you have to give yourself time. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about that, because in order for us to be positive, in order for us to be productive, we have to form good habits, positive habits. I will talk about positive habits. There are habits that I just want to share. That successful and productive people, habits that they do each and every day that helps them to be more productive. But I just wanted to talk about how to break a bad habit first. And so guys, please remember, you can always go back to and listen any episode that you want to listen to on each and every day. We are available for you here on Empowerment Podcast. Until next time, have a great day, a great week ahead, a productive week, and let's form positive habits.